So to get started, we are going to make a text box. So I'm going to come over here to the left and click on this T text. And so I'm just going to start typing in my text box. So I'm just going to have this say happy fall. Super original, I know, but I thought this would be super cute. So I want this text to actually be centered. So I'm going to come up here and click on alignment, and I'm going to click center so it is just centered. And then I want to change the font. So I'm going to come up here to the font little window, and I'm just going to choose a font that I like. So when cutting really tiny vinyl, I think one thing that I think makes it easier is I think if you choose a script font or something where like all the letters are connected, so aka script font, it just makes it a little more difficult and your vinyl isn't as flexible. And when I say flexible, I mean like there's no room for error because your letters have to stay together, right? So if we use a font that is like this, that's just a single letter font, I think it just makes life a little bit easier. So just a little tip, not a science by any means. It's just something that I think, you know, just makes sense. Okay, so I ended up going with this Skinny Things font. I believe this is one I got from Font Bundles. So I just downloaded it to my Cricut design space. Alright, and so the pumpkin I have is pretty dang small, so I'm actually gonna size this like this big, like 1 by 1. That is how small this pumpkin is. And honestly, 1 by 1 even might be a little bit too big, so I'm gonna make it even smaller. It's like 1/2 inch. So we can come over here to make it, hit continue, and the settings is really where it's gonna make a difference. Cutting really tiny text versus just cutting like regular. So if this was just a regular old big, you know, piece of vinyl, or I was cutting big words out of vinyl, or even normal size words out of vinyl, I would use the just regular old vinyl setting. However, if I were to use regular old vinyl setting with this tiny, skinny, really delicate text, it would just be too much to cut this vinyl, and it would just shred it, or not shred it, it's a little dramatic. It would not cut it as easily, and that's usually where you see like the letters getting kind of like picked up from the vinyl or torn or whatever. So I'm going to come over here to Browse Materials, and if you have the Explorer Air 2 machine, all you have to do is turn your dial to Custom, and then this little window will pop up so you can find the setting you want. So I'm going to come up here to the search bar, and I'm going to type WASHI. So WASHI is, I don't use it a lot, but basically it's like this really super duper thin like tape like stuff, and it has like designs on it, and you know, it's like really cute, and I'll show you a sample of it in just a second. But so that's the setting we're going to use. So we're going to use the WASHI setting. So I will switch you guys over to the camera and show you how this will cut. I forgot to mention, I will bring my laptop over so you could see, hopefully. I forgot to mention for the pressure, I'm going to actually use more pressure because I found that if you just do the normal pressure, even with the vinyl on this washi tape setting, it doesn't cut all the way through. So I'm going to do more pressure. It's still going to cut delicately, but it will give it just a wee bit more pressure. Alright, so this is the little pumpkin I'm going to be putting my vinyl on. So the vinyl I'm going to use is this Oracle 651, so it's permanent. It's like a glossy permanent. You can use whatever vinyl you want. If you want to use removable, permanent, it's really up to you. I'm just going to be putting this on my blue mat. And I don't know where any of my scrapers are. Found it. So I'm just going to scrape this down. And I'm going to pull out my machine. Oop. Pumpkin down. Alright, so our light is blinking here, which means we can load our mat. So I'm going to push that button to load our mat, and we can cut. Alright, so it's done cutting, so we can move our machine out of the way. And I'm going to take the vinyl off of the mat. Alright, so I'm just flipped this up just because it's easier for me to weed on a hard surface. And this like silicone, so it's kind of difficult. And actually, I'm going to separate these so it's a little bit easier just to weed one at a time. So I'm just going to peel up a corner and I'm just going to gently peel away the vinyl, and you can see our letters are stained. So everything is cut through perfectly, but sometimes the vinyl wants to take the letter with it. So I'm just going to use my weeding tool and just kind of like hold on to the letter right here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I'm just like holding on to this letter and then peeling the rest of the vinyl. So you can see my H is now there. So now we're gonna move on to the A. And I think part of this too, like weeding these really small letters, it's just patience. Like you don't want to obviously cut a whole novel of these tiny letters. It would just take you forever, but it's just patience. And so for this A, it's not coming up as easily. So I'm gonna go poke my little weeding tool through the front. So you could see kind of the weeding tool is poking through the front. I'm going to try and zoom in a little bit more so you guys can see, but I'm worried the focus is going to get all crazy. So you can see our A is there, so as I'm peeling, I'm just going to hold on. Same thing for the P. I'm just going to, on the front of the vinyl, I'm going to hold the P down as I'm pulling the vinyl up, and now I'm going to hold it down as I pull it away. So you just got to have patience. So now we have our P there. Alright, so we have our happy done. Well, most of it done. Now I'm just going to go back and get these middles out. So again, I'm just kind of putting my finger on the actual letter as I'm scraping the middle out just so it doesn't go anywhere. Alright, so we have our happy. I know you can't really see it. I tried to pick a vinyl that had like this has like a blue background, so we have our happy, and then we're gonna do our fall, which thankfully is a shorter word. So I'm gonna start by peeling up this corner here, and I'm just gonna, from the front, I'm just gonna put my weeding tool on the F and hold on to it as I'm peeling away the vinyl. So we have our F there, it's by itself. Then we're going to do our A, Again, I'm holding the letter down. And then we have the L's, both L's. Alright, so now I'm just gonna, luckily there's only one middle here and it's just the A. Alright, so we have our happy fall here. Battery in the camera is about to die, so I'm gonna bust through this as fast as I possibly can. So I'm gonna be using this Oracle Clear transfer tape because I just feel that it'll just help me be able to see like what I'm doing here with this, putting this on this pumpkin. So I'm just gonna apply my transfer tape. So I'm just gonna apply it. And so I'm just gonna flip it over and peel away the carrier sheet. Alright, so we have our happy here. So I'm just going to, I think I'm gonna do it this way. I'm just gonna center it and put it right on my pumpkin. The A just does not want to stay, apparently. Alright, so we have our happy on there. So now I'm just gonna do the same thing with the fall, put my transfer tape on, squeegee it, flip it over, and just peel off the carrier sheet. Alright, so we have our fall on here, so I'm just going to place it. I'm just going to place it right under the happy and just use my thumbs to kind of press it down. And we have our cute little pumpkin. Alright guys, so there you have it. We have our super cute little pumpkin, and you guys know how to cut teeny tiny vinyl with the washi tape setting. I hope you guys found this helpful. As always, happy crafting!